Hey guys, I'm going to go through the lesson today. We are going to talk about forensic anthropology. Okay, so in forensic anthropology, we're looking at skeletons. So our skeletons support our bodies and they anchor our muscles and protect internal organs. So these skeletal remains, give investigators clues into who a person is and how they died. So forensic anthropology is this division in science that seeks to identify human remains. Okay, so we can use DNA analysis of bones and other skeletal tissue to assist in the identification of historical figures. This is one application of forensic anthropology, and this could be this has been used in things like September 11th fatalities, victims of war, burned victims, victims found in woods that we are not able to identify in other ways. Okay, so when skeletal remains are found, the bones and surrounding area are treated as a crime scene. So that means it's going to be documented and processed. Then a forensic anthropologist will use their knowledge of skeletal anatomy to identify the remains. Okay, so they can work with different professionals, including pathologists, toxicologists, DNA analysts, odontologists that's looking at the dental records, and entomologists. Okay, so if you go on Canvas, there's an Edpuzzle I'm going to have you guys do where you watch this video about the work of a forensic anthropologist. Okay, when skeletal remains are found, they're examined, and first we need to figure out if they're human or not. Okay, so if they are human, a biological profile can be created from observing the remains, and so that's going to contain 4 parts, the profile: sex, age, height, and ethnic origin. Okay, so in some cases, we can also extract DNA from the human skeletal or dental remains that we can then run to see if we can get DNA evidence. And some bones or teeth can provide clues that investigators use to identify the human remains. Okay, so we're going to look more at the characteristics of the bone. So bones provide the framework for our bodies. They contain calcium and phosphate and bone cells. And there is the red bone marrow inside of our bones that produces red blood cells. So here's an example of our bone, and then inside we have our red bone marrow. Okay, so adults on average contain 206 bones, and babies actually contain 270 bones. And so during childhood, bones thicken and they ossify, and they grow larger, resulting in fewer bones in adulthood. So they're kind of fusing together. Throughout our lifetime, bones are always being produced, repaired, and broken down. So they're going to increase in length until the growth plate is ossified, which means the bone is being replaced by cartilage, or replacing the cartilage. And then after age 30, this process begins to reverse, and bones lose minerals and break down faster than before. Okay, so we're going to move on to talk about specifically the human skull. Okay, so the skull or cranium specifically gives clues about age, sex, ethnicity, and of the deceased. Okay, so it can provide other clues. So example, this right here can show clues of where there was a gunshot. I'm going to have you guys watch another video. This is an Edpuzzle also on Canvas that is giving you information about the human skull and how there are differences in that of male and female skulls. So this kind of summarizes those differences between our male and female skulls that you will watch in that Edpuzzle. Okay, so you can pause the video, and decide which one of these is a male skull and which is a female skull. Okay, so the one on the left is a male and the one on the right is a female skull. Okay, so the skull can also be used to determine approximate age and ethnicity as well as sex. So you can see how the skull is going to change over time, where we have those plates fusing together as the person ages. And then we also have different features that can be identified from different ethnicities. Okay, and then we're going to talk about the pelvic bone. So the pelvic bone, one of the most reliable methods to determining the sex of an adult skeleton is by looking at this pelvic bone. And because of the anatomical characteristics needed for childbearing, this region of the body has many differences between male and females. So I have another video, it's an Edpuzzle again, on Canvas that you're going to watch to look at the differences between that of male and female pelvises. So after you watch that video, you should be able to identify which of these is male and which is female. So take a guess. Okay, so the one on the left is a male and the one on the right is a female. Okay, and now we're going to look at the long bones in the human body. So long bones in the human body, throughout a human's lifetime, bones are always being produced, repaired, and broken down. And as a result, bones increase in length until the growth plate is hardened. We already talked about that. And after age 30, this begins to happen in reverse. Okay, so bones can then be used to determine clues about the individual. So it can provide the age, the sex, the ancestry of the descendant. It can also provide clues about the lifestyle. So here is an example. So we can get information about the hygiene, the dental hygiene of an individual. So this is a Roman skull showing calcium buildup on the teeth. Okay, long bones in the body can be used to estimate the height of an individual. So measuring the bones like the humerus or femur can give important clues of the height of the individual. Okay, so there are mathematical calculations that can be used to determine the height when the length of a certain bone is known. So we can use a chart like this to figure out the height of the individual. Okay, so we're going to practice. So here's our chart. It's going to depend on a couple different things, the type of bone we are using, the race, and if it's a male or female. Okay, so this is saying the radius of an Asian male was found in the woods next to an abandoned house. Investigators measured the radius at 32 centimeters. What is the approximate height of the deceased? So we're using a radius. So we're going to go down to the bone that's a radius. And the ethnicity is an Asian and a male. So we're going to use this equation. We use 3.54 times the length plus 82. In this case, the length is 32 centimeters. So we're going to use this equation to figure out the height of the individual. Okay, let's try another one. The femur of an African American female was discovered by a team of anthropologists. They measured the femur at 43 centimeters. What's the approximate height of the deceased? So this one, we're looking at a femur. So we go to femur, African American, and a female. So we're going to use this equation. I clicked the button a little early, but anyway, and the height or the length of the femur in this case is 43. Okay, so this is the end of the video. So make sure that you complete those 3 ed puzzles for the class today. Bye, guys.